Ready, set, go.
Alright, so last time we left off, Seven went off trying to figure out where the source of this magical ethereal shockwave came from. And you all were discussing things with the
Crows.
the Crows, the currently unnamed group, supposedly, that they head up. And if I remember correctly, you essentially got them to agree to help get the collar off of her, of Adamanta.
Yep. So, who's still at the Crows with me? Is it just me and Hogarth?
I'm still there, right? I'm just kind of off to the side.
All right. So what
Yeah.
I'm going to say is, all right, Hogarth, and Sandcast, time to step up to the plate to give you a pat in the shoulders, and I go chase after the cat because I have the feeling he's going to get himself in trouble real quick.
Wait, what's happening? I was staring at the crow lady's boobs.
You're in charge now.
That's not a good idea.
I'm just watching you guys.
That's a bad idea. I think that
You were chasing after me because you were commanded to.
That's after he had left, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Bottle one.
all right. So how about this, Tengu? I appreciate you coming out here as a show of faith. I think we've got a pretty good read on each other and what one party can do for the other. So how about we meet you back at your place?
Wink, wink.
And Flavor's gone.
he hated that idea, dude.
I think so.
His internet just died.
That's what happened to me, and then this is my computer froze. It was like sometimes like a USB disconnected, and I clicked OK, and then it just froze. So I turned my
Repeat so
computer
hard
off,
it
turned it
froze.
back on, and my Wi-Fi wasn't working.
So Hogarth, what do you think we should do?
So I'm
You up for
following
robbing a ship?
the kitty cat.
Yeah, that was he had sort of sent you after the cat after 7.
I think
I think I'm gonna take my pants off because
this is the first time I've been given a choice with other people. Usually I just decide for myself. This is kind of overwhelming. I've been part of a party before. I think we should trust them. I give you a big, childish smile. Naive.
I think we should trust people.
So you've been on your own for a long time then?
About 3 months.
That's a long time, man.
That's not that long.
I like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Oh yeah, no, I'm all for that. I mean, it seems like they're genuine. What I wanted to assess was, what's the benefit for them? What do they get out of the deal? Well, they get a party of people that can do some jobs for them, like get weapons and that kind of thing.
Hi.
Oh, we can do that?
Hello.
Do you hate his idea so much?
Do what? What's going on?
We can get weapons for people? I didn't know that was a thing we could do.
Well, apparently there's some weapons on good old what was his name? Draken's ship.
I can go invisible and go sneak and grab them.
That needed to be liberated. So I'm guessing it's probably crates of weapons at the level these guys operate.
Oh no,
Tengu?
no, I can't do that.
What kind of weapons are you looking to liberate? We talking about like crates of swords? What kind of weight we talking about?
Well, let's see. He pulls out a little pocketbook he had in his robes and pulls out what looks like a small monocle, begins reading it over. Yes, Yes, yes. There's a crate of crossbow bolts, along with another crate of crossbows. Crate, shuriken, and kunai.
Can I sneak a peek at that book?
You want to try and sneak a peek at his book?
Yeah.
All
just
right.
subtly.
I can
Then
read
I
faster
guess
than you can, old man.
stealth
All right.
plus perception, because you are a little far away.
Okay, here's a perception, and here's a stealth. That's an 18 for perception and a 19 for stealth.
Okay, yeah, you can read it pretty decently. I mean, it's upside down to you, but it's pretty easy to flip it over in your mind and figure out what it says.
Anything juicy?
There is something titled there is something just standard sort of like thievery kind of weapons, and then there's something that's mentioned only as experiment. That is pretty much the only thing juicy looking there.
Okay.
Also,
okay.
there is something that you haven't really heard of, which is spring blades. You're not entirely certain what that means, but there appear to be quite a few of them that are being.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. So here's my suggestion, and sort of what I'm thinking to myself is that I wanted to make sure we weren't like offloading some magical equivalent of WMDs, you know?
Right.
Like if it's stuff that you stab people with, you know, you can only stab people one at a time.
We wouldn't offload this.
Yeah, I mean by offload I mean offload into our pockets.
I would keep
Okay.
them, and I would nurture
It
them, and I would call
might
them
be-
George.
I don't know. You kind of have a WMD of your own. Her name is Adamanta.
She died just like
Yeah.
everything else.
You literally have a dragon traveling with you right now, so.
So here's my recommendation. So obviously we've got something to deal with over here on the arcane front, and Seven to catch up with. So why don't we meet you back at your place in town? I appreciate you taking the time and effort to come all the way out here to meet us halfway. So it's only fair that we be willing to extend you the same courtesy.
Appreciate that very much.
So do you want to leave us your address? How we're gonna meet you?
I will Raven and Raven lead you back to me.
All right. So why don't you just wait for us around the edge of town, Raven, when you see us coming back in.
Raven sort of looks over at Tengu, sort of arches an eyebrow. He says, yes, that's fine.
Is that good with you guys?
Works for me. Oh, I'm the only one here.
Room.
Works for me.
All right. I give him a bow and a little wave, and then I start jogging off to Seven.
Do the same. Do I have spells? I have spells, don't I?
Yes,
You're a
spells, yes.
bard.
The spell of song.
You don't get any of your spells back because it was just kind of like the
Yeah.
start of the day.
Yeah, we haven't rested or anything yet.
As running away, I kind of turn back to him, do like the whole SpongeBob rainbow with my hands thing as we're running towards 7, and then turn to start running again using prestidigitation.
Imagination. How far over here am I running? Like
You're almost there.
almost there.
Yeah.
The blue line.
Oh god, you guys run fast!
As you get closer and closer, you begin to feel the shockwave of ethereal energy, sort of.
Okay, because I'm running.
You're getting
like,
closer
you're-
and closer to
so
it.
much
You're behind
faster
us.
than
Wait up!
What's your
Seven,
movement
wait up!
speed?
The only one who's keeping up with you is Adamanta, who has just essentially she beats her wings and
Yeah,
flies after you.
Let's see, how long does that last?
I'm fucking huffing and puffing back here, like.
35 movement speed at Nothers.
Yeah, I'm booking it. I'd finish up using whatever's left of Expeditious Retreat and just keep running. I assume it's this
Rolling,
blue
rolling,
squiggly
rolling.
line that I'm moving towards, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm there.
You are.
What do I find?
So as you get closer to this thing, the ethereal sort of shockwave that you felt with your detect magic, you feel yourself getting closer and closer to its center, its origination. And as you approach what looks like some sort of disturbance in the air, you feel like a massive amount of just raw power and energy. Like this is exactly the kinds of things that you were warned about when you were first learning magic. Like these are the kinds of things you want to avoid, because if magic users get too close to these, they can be overwhelmed with energy and essentially explode.
Okay. Well, I don't want to get right up on it, but I will definitely take notes about it.
Yeah.
Definitely. If I was warned like super heavily, I wouldn't go up and touch it.
Yeah.
Because I was, before you said that, I was literally gonna be like, I touch it. I was like, oh well, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I was like-
if it's in my teaching not to, I'm not gonna.
I'm a little upset today with everything that's been going on, but I don't think I'm upset enough to kill PCs off.
And there's just pieces of 7 scattered throughout the forest.
More like scattered throughout all of reality.
New quest: find the pieces of the cat guy.
Yeah, I want to
It's like putting
Reunite.
back together Osiris.
Reunite the
Oh, that's
Kagash. I love that book.
I'm gonna click deny on that quest.
Alright,
seriously,
so I'm
that
guessing we catch up.
That would literally turn into like the main overarching theme of the book series, the Demonata, because there's this invisible, like the universe is split up in like 32 different spots, half light, half dark, and the invisible boundary in the middle got broke and scattered, and it manifested itself in these 3 kids over time, and they come together and basically turn into the invisible barriers, but it has a mind of its own now, like a will. Before it was just a thing. Now it's like, you know what, we control this shit. No,
It's
no,
weird.
no, yes. It's a really good book, and it's really mindfucky. Like,
So Taxi's gonna come up to this disturbance in the air, and he's still puffing on one of his wasp joints. Is just gonna blow a puff of smoke at it, try to get a better look at it through the smoke.
So what is this, Fox? 7.
this is like
Roll Arcana if you want to figure it out.
raw magic.
I mean, I'm arcanely inclined. I cast magic.
Yeah, you could roll Arcana to figure it out too.
You should touch it. No,
Yeah, just
don't
touch
touch it.
Raph is just feeling a bit quite uncomfortable at the
Okay.
sort of unnaturalness of it.
Oh yeah, it
I've never
feels
seen one
very
in real life.
unnatural.
I've never seen one of these in person before.
7, did you roll Arcana?
No, I haven't. Where's my button?
I don't know.
Boink.
Your shit together.
Nice. Hogarth knows more.
I think this thing is pretty safe. I mean,
This one doesn't look big.
but it's not huge.
This one's not.
You
this
forgot.
is
You
fine.
were dazing off in there. You just heard
Ooh,
don't touch them.
magic. This is cool.
It's shiny. I know that much.
It's shiny. It's different. It's got magic in it. Ah.
How do
Hogarth,
we?
It feels unnatural as well, but you can't quite pin down. You haven't heard anything about anything like this. It's just sort of some strange disturbance in the air from which you can feel energy sort of seeping off.
Yeah, don't touch that.
So I'd like to reach out with sort of my druidic sense and try to get an idea of if I could somehow heal the rift, or if I need to bleed off the energy into some kind of machination in order to heal the rift. Because I know it barfed out like 4 freaking huge beasts, so there's got to be a ton of power there.
Maybe we should
Okay.
jump through it and become and beat the Elite Four.
Because it's got to feel like a wound in nature to me.
Can we go through it and get all the badges?
Get all the badges, become the champion, then come back.
Beat the Elite Four, Battle Frontier, you know, all that shit.
then just come back and take over all of this world because
We
who's
have a
gonna stop you
Charizard.
when you have a team. Yeah, you have a team of legendaries. I'm sure.
No, we just go there, get a bunch of Pokeballs, come back, start catching shit.
No joke. One of my other groups started trying to do that.
Nice.
We go through. We give the bike guy in Goldenrod City a gold piece. He gives us a bike. You know.
I'll be right back. My parents are calling me.
Fine youngster Joey. He keeps calling us for the rest of the campaign.
Kick,
Not for a
kick
fan
his
of-
ass. We don't want your Eradicate.
Okay,
enough
so
about
you're gonna
Pokemon.
try and feel it out, try and heal the rift.
Well, I just want to sort of reach out tentatively because obviously I've seen this thing barf out. Four creatures came from it, so it's got to have a huge amount of power in it. So I just want to reach out sort of tentatively with the druidic senses to sort of feel the warp and weft of it to see if I think it'd be practical for me to either bleed off energy into some kind of transmutation or to somehow try to heal this wound.
Okay. Roll a charisma save. Let's see.
Oh, nat
Oh,
20.
nice.
Nice.
So as you begin to reach out towards this thing, you're immediately flooded with essentially what feels like probability itself. Like all possibilities that could arise seem to just flood into your mind, and it takes basically all of your willpower to just immediately shut it out. That was way too much for you to handle. But luckily you were able to realize that quick enough that it didn't affect you adversely.
So everyone else just sees me go to sort of like reach one hand out, kind of, and then just immediately fall face first onto the ground.
Wait, I just got back. Is Wrath the king of space and time now?
Yes.
It's like that, but more eating dirt.
Amanda immediately.
Don't touch it, guys. The
What happened?
Oh, so the thing I've been saying. Yeah, that's
Hang
what
on
we're
a
gonna do now. I gotcha.
Aw,
There's a baby.
just a baby.
I love the baby.
The baby cool.
Sorry, just saying good night to the little one.
There's a little baby raptor.
Yeah,
Baby
she's a
rat.
sweetie. Sorry. So don't touch it. There's no reality that exists where you should touch it.
I don't know what that means, but I kind of already said don't touch it. So
You should listen to yourself.
uh,
I should listen to you.
I planned on it.
Listening, I should listen more. I need to listen more.
Are we gonna go talk to the ravens now?
We can't just leave it like this.
Wet floor signs on each side.
I am still captivated by it.
All right,
Do
well,
I
I'll
know
be like,
anything about it? Like the ravens say anything about this to me?
No.
Okay.
why don't we hurl some magic at it? Like, let's back up.
Adamanta gets a little close to it, extends one of her fingers, and sort of like a small bolt of lightning jumps from her fingertip towards it. And it doesn't look like she meant to do that. It catches her by surprise as well. And it sort of like bursts a bit. Like, not insane amounts of energy start pouring out, but enough to sort of like push you and Taxi back a bit. 7.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't know why that happened.
You missed the don't touch it part.
I didn't touch it.
I want to cast Mage Hand and make it touch it.
Oh, okay.
Like that. Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna touch it.
Just make sure I'm out of fireball range.
So your mage hand, as it gets closer to it,
Oh, everyone backs away.
it feels like it's harder and harder to pull it back away from it. And as the mage hand gets closer, it essentially feels like it's falling towards it until it just falls into it. And then Good boy. All right. I'm gonna need you to roll for me a dexterity save.
Nice. Yeah.
And we see this happening, right?
Yeah. And there's just a burst of energy, and you are hit with that as you try to dive out of the way, but it catches you on your way down, and that's going to be
Does that have an element?
pure force.
Force.
That's 3 force damage.
Wow. Okay.
That could have been much worse.
It could have been much worse. For a second there, I was like, how many D10s? What?
Just one,
Just one.
but it's also
So I'm gonna move up a little bit closer and start to construct an earthen bulwark in front of us for further experimentation.
okay.
Which, if it's 6 seconds around and I want to make something 5 feet high, it should only take me about 20 seconds to create a 15-foot by 5-foot
Mhm.
earthen bulwark.
Yeah.
For us to sort of crouch behind.
Yeah.
Alright.
Something like this.
Just draw it. Oh, back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Works.
I'll get behind it.
So we need to close this when it's reacted to Ada through which unleashed some energy. It reacted to your mage hand by sucking it in and then pouring out a corresponding amount of energy at you.
So should we try to heal it?
My only ability to
By the
heal
way,
requires touch.
7.
Oh, I can.
Enough time has passed
dang it.
now, I would say, and you've observed it some more. If you want to roll another Arcana check to see if you can figure out what exactly is going on here, you can.
Mhm.
All right, good. So, after your experimentation and observation, you have since come to the conclusion that this is a rift, and specifically a rift between. This is not a normal kind of rift. Rifts normally open when, things that don't go together end up going together. Like if you threw a portable hole inside of a bag of holding, you create a rift. But this one is this one is strange. It's first of all, it doesn't even seem necessarily like it's anything open at all. It seems like whatever it was connecting, that connection is sort of tentatively gone at this point. But if you had the right abilities, you could probably open it back up
So
again.
it's like a residual tear.
It's like a residual tear, but specifically, you're hypothesizing that this is a tear between basically probability. Essentially, what could be and what isn't is there. Essentially, multiversal wormhole. And that's not normal at all. People have traveled to the different levels of the material plane, but
Mhm.
they don't just open, and they don't just leave behind
This shit.
distortions. Yeah.
So do you relate all that to us?
Yeah, for sure.
So it looks like someone's closed the other side. Or something closed the other side, but nothing closed this side.
That's definitely what it seems
what I'm
like, or at least
gathering.
that's your best conclusion you can draw from this.
Never heard nor seen of anything like this before. Like a portal, but only one side. Oh, definitely interesting. Dangerous.
So
Interesting.
I'm thinking, what if? I mean, the biggest stabilizing force in my world certainly is the Earth itself.
Want to cover it with dirt?
I kind
figure
of
we're giving it a
sing
try.
sometimes.
So you guys might want to crouch behind this thing.
I got a shovel.
Okay.
It's only a couple seconds work for me too.
Okay, I'll go
Me and
prone.
the
Boulder.
shovel.
I'll go prone behind this thing.
Alright, so I'm gonna crouch behind the bulwark and then slowly start to bring earth from the sides onto basically where the rift is, and then start to sort of build it up from the ground up.
All right. So as it gets closer to, as you move the earth and sort of make it the mound larger and larger, as it gets closer to it, you essentially feel your control over the earth slipping as the magic that you're using to sculpt it gets sucked into the rift. And while you've built up a bit of a mound up to the rift, it doesn't seem to be doing anything. It doesn't seem like it's a rift in the air. It seems like whatever it is, it's a rift specifically in that spot. And no matter what is going to take up that space, the rift is going to remain.
Hmm.
So now there's
Can't
a
cover
big
it up.
pile of, and the bottom part of the rift is being touched by the dirt, but the rift is still there and looks essentially the same as before the dirt was.
Hmm.
Ideas?
Hmm. Nope.
I say we leave it and just let it happen.
That's about all we can do, I think.
We could ask Jackus about it.
That's
Good.
another option.
We need to go talk to him anyway.
Maybe
Hmm.
should we like leave a sign or
Do you have a sign?
I have my clothes and this wonderful see. No.
Oh. So there's your answer.
Somebody gets close to it and touches it, it's their fault.
Yeah, kinda. That's my feeling on it.
Whatever.
Then I look over to Raph.
That's fine.
I can leave a sign,
Here's your
but only
sign.
for an hour.
You
So
know
that's
what?
better than nothing.
You know what? I'm just gonna go right here, and I'm gonna dig the words "Don't touch" with an arrow pointing at it in the dirt
Yeah,
with my
I could
shovel.
also press the dissertation on the sign.
I'm just gonna do it with my shovel.
Do it with your shovel, baby.
Magic doesn't seem to. Magic must defeat magic, and it's stronger magic.
Magic must defeat magic.
Maybe that's the problem. If it eats magic, maybe we're going about it all wrong.
I'm gonna
I
take
throw a rock at it when he says maybe if we're doing it all wrong.
I duck
The rock
instinctively
just sort of flies through it.
through it and hits the other side.
Yeah.
You hear somebody
Aha.
yell, "Who the fuck threw that?"
The rock doesn't like disappear or anything. It just
It's as if
goes-
there's like a transparent overlay in that spot. It just kind of goes
Yes.
through it.
yes.
That only interacts with magic.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you close something magical
It
with
eats
something
magic.
that's not magical?
All right. So with
Anti-magic field, baby.
prestidigitation, that's it.
Mhm.
You cast anti-magic field.
No.
Alright. So with prestidigitation, I can make small trinkets. I'd like to make a trinket and then throw said trinket at the portal.
Okay.
I'm digging a sign.
It says non-magical trinkets. I want to wait till he's done digging his sign though, like a tard.
Yeah. So you create a non-magical. What exactly do you make? I'm just curious.
I'll make
For fluff reasons.
another rock.
You know what? Fair enough. All right. So you pick up the rock that you just made with prestidigitation and throw it at it. And since you just created a rock, you essentially created a non-magical item. Just
I
flies
am the
right through.
Philosopher's Stone. Oh.
Uh-oh. Hogarth's
I s-
become an alchemist.
I say I am the Philosopher's Stone as it like goes through, and I'm like, oh, never mind.
There.
I don't really have many spells that affect things besides people. I'm a people person. I'm not a magic barrier person. So let's come back to this after we talk to Jackus.
Kind of just wave him on. It's like, yeah, whatever. As I walk
But
by.
let's put a pin in this.
Yeah, I think that's what we can do.
Okay, okay. Hey,
Alright,
road.
I create a pin with prestidigitation and stick it in the air. And use prestidigitation to keep it there. I don't know if I can do that with prestidigitation, but hey.
I will allow it because it's funny.
Alright, there's a pin in it, guys. It's right there. Prestidigitation is such a good spell.
Just following the road.
Alright, we go back to town. Unless
So-
anyone has any objection.
But as we're on the way back to town, I do want to ask the group, how do we want to deal with this Tengu situation? Because they obviously want to hire us for a job.
Well,
Why not?
if
I'm gonna
we're
make sure we
hired
do
to
that.
do it. Hold on now. Hold on.
They're gonna pay us, right? And then we can keep
Um,
whatever we want.
I've got a question. I understand that we've become friends over the past 24 hours, or 38, whatever a day is here. Are we going to be adventuring together? Is it like a thing? Is this how adventuring parties start?
Right now, I'm just here to watch you guys.
I shrug. Because I don't really know
Oh,
either.
the pack stronger with more members.
I thought we were a party, not a pack.
It's all the same to me.
Cats don't run
Oh.
in packs.
Oh, all right. I mean, like I said before, I want friends. And you guys seem friendly enough.
Yeah, I think we get along well, Hogarth.
Yeah, we're
Thank you,
totally
Jeff.
friends.
It's nice. That was weird. You got like a tickle in your throat? You okay,
Hairball.
buddy?
Hairball.
Hairball.
Thank
I will
you.
cast Healing Word on my, well, shit, if my sheet will let me look at my spells, I will. Healing Word on my friend, 7. That's not Healing Word. Whispers.
11 damage.
Thank you.
You motherfucker. Fireball.
New campaign! This one's over! Does that do it? Is that it?
That's
Yep.
one
There
word.
it is. You heal for 8, my friend.
S-
8, 9.
So
Nice.
I feel like in good conscience, I should mention that I may not be the least wanted individual.
I
Strictly
am.
speaking.
And I smile at you.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, don't worry about that,
I
Ada.
don't care.
I go up to Raph and like clap him on the shoulders and I say, "Don't worry, I can get you out of any bad situation." And I wink at you.
All right, all right.
I'll
Just-
eat 'em.
There we go. Felt like I had to at least say something. That's good with me.
Me and you, we're brothers now, Raph.
Is it too much of a half-elf in joke if I say brothers by another mother?
I don't think we have the same mother. I've never met my father. She talked about him a lot, but I
Yeah,
don't
we
like him
definitely
because
don't
I
have the
wasn't
same
around.
mother. I can tell you that much.
Well, brothers from another mother it is. I smile at you.
Ada's going to look over at the both of you and is like, "What's a mother and father?"
That's
Well,
the
it's that-
saddest thing I've ever heard, kid.
The mother's the one that laid you, and the father, well, we'll
The
wait
one
for
that
you.
laid her.
What do you mean?
Dirty
Dragon's gonna
humor.
just exist.
Wait, but both of the people that either of them could have laid me.
All
And you know
right.
what? alternative families. There's no judgment here.
This new age hippy dippy crap.
Do I? Here, I'm gonna give you a perception.
Oh, that's
Do I see anything like wildlife as I walk into town?
no, just normal like pets that people have running around, and birds and stuff like.
Okay.
But it is just like, oh, that's you all have different. She just sort of
Yep.
walks away, like, that's right. I forgot. Your guys' genitalia isn't the same as mine.
That's weird. You're
cloaca.
weird.
No, she don't have a cloaca.
Something tells me I
She
don't
has
need to know.
titties, so
Nor do I
that's
want
all
to
that
know.
matters.
No,
Right, to town.
born
Do we see
curse.
Raven?
Yeah.
Dragons are like
Ravens.
snails in this world. They shoot barbs out of their face to peg the other person to them.
And they're also allergic to
I
salt.
mean,
Yeah.
yes, kind of. They are hermaphroditic, but
I'll channel my inner.
Whoa.
I'll channel my
You need
inner
to keep your
Hogarth
weird
and
kinks out of our game.
it's just,
Oh, I
it's
forgot
not a
to do this.
kink, it's just the way things work.
I'll channel my inner Hogarth and give
Unorthodox
Raven a
fetish.
cheery wave.
Oh, hey, see, now you're getting it. And I smile and give you a little tap.
Gonna
I
try
wave to her as well.
find a picture.
Please don't send a picture of a hermaphrodite dragon, Nick. I really don't want that. I really don't want that.
Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribed, flagged, blocked. God. No, Nick.
Oh,
Do we have to go to her? Is that how this is working? I don't know how this
That's what
works.
Raph did.
Yeah, I assume we're still
Right.
walking towards her.
Alright.
Last. Nah, never mind.
Hmm.
Table talk though. Tell me if I'm talking too much.
No, you're fine.
So you see her sitting very near the wall on the edge of the inside of the town, just cross-legged, meditating, waiting for you all.
So
As soon as you get close enough that she can hear that, she immediately, her eyes shoot up and she's like, "Ah, hello. I see that your business is taken care of."
in a manner of speaking. Not at all.
Mm,
We're not gonna tell her what's happening.
What was it? That
I just kind of like speak up. I'm like, there's some kind of rift in the forest.
Hey, new guy. We were cool, but now I don't know. Telling our
be
business to
fair,
people.
he does technically work for us.
Yeah, but
As
me
far
and
as
him
I'm
were friends.
concerned,
We played music.
We can play music anytime you want to.
Let's
Could
play
play
music
music
now.
with
And
you
I,
if you
I pull out my viol.
There's a time and place for anything.
You
I pull it out right now and
Right
start
now.
playing.
You play alone.
Raven,
I just gotta ignore you.
I don't do too. I'm just doing it to spite you, so I'm purposely not doing it well.
Raven pulls out her lute.
Sure.
as far as I'm concerned, Zancast, you fought with us without hesitation, so you were one in the pack.
She's not great.
Ah!
She's not great.
I'll give you lessons. And I put my mandolin away.
No,
I
I
win.
actually enjoy that. She says as she puts her lute away.
All right, we're gonna go meet your dad and discuss
shall we?
things, right? Is that what we're doing?
That was the idea, yes.
I'm gonna go see
Yeah, let's
Jackus.
do it. Is this like? Are we doing a legal thing?
Not yet, but we might be soon.
Okay, I'm gonna stay behind you the whole time.
Where's Jackus's house?
That's fine.
Jackus's shop it's honestly hard to miss. Over by the dock, sort of by the cliff face over by the water, there is a large mage's tower. It's quite difficult, honestly. You just
It's
have to
right.
go-
It's right beside the Skank Shack. That's his favorite place to go.
For lunch.
Yeah.
It's not what you think. They sell tools.
right here.
Why does
A
he eat
hardware store.
tools?
Right. Where?
He eats nails.
Let's see it.
Right
Do we
here.
want to go chat to Jackus first?
I think we kind of have to go with Raven first. I mean, she's right here.
Have to.
If you would prefer to go to Jackass first, that is fine. My father does have other business to attend to if necessary.
Yeah, if any luck, you won't have
Whatever.
to deal with us because Jack is so blow us up or something.
Well, Ref, you're the leader. What do we do?
Am I? How'd that happen?
You're Alpha Wolf, right?
You've sort of been the one taking charge. Sort of de facto makes you.
All
I
right.
just play music and look good.
I start moving towards
All right.
where Jack's place is.
Yeah, let's go to Jackus.
Very well.
'Cause I know Seven's been looking forward to that for a while.
And I will accompany you and wait outside Jackass's office until you are finished.
Let's Jackus as a group.
Thank you, Raven.
A group Jackus.
So we go.
Do,
Off to see the
do.
wizard.
The
Wonderful.
wonderful wizard of Kolia.
Cholera. Ooh, that's a bad
Colia.
wizard.
Colon.
Kolia.
Cauliflower.
Yes, cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
So how long, by the way, just so I know, sort of table talk, how long are we considering a short rest?
For a short rest, I consider an hour.
Should take an hour to do all this shit.
No. It's taken about like half an hour.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So what do we see?
You
Let's
are
see.
over at
CC.
pretty much the edge of where the docks are and where there's a cliff face to the water. And there's this huge tower standing there by the edge of it. And
How did I
pretty
not
much as you
notice this?
approach, you can see like weird shifting lights coming through one of the windows, and some in one of them the lights are strobing a bit. There appears to be stone objects that are moving on the outside of the tower itself, and sort of just moving around, and like every now and then like one of the stones will fall out of it and one of those stone figures will grab it and put it back in place. It seems like a magically stable building, but if anyone else had built this thing and tried to live in it, it would just fall apart.
Oh.
There's a
Strict no
door
dispel
in front
magic
of you.
zone.
There is a door in front of you, but it doesn't seem to have any way of opening it from this side. It only has a knocker in the shape of a fire with a fire sort of thing that you hold on to, the handle part.
A knock with mage
And
hand.
all right. From the inside, you hear, "Who's there?"
Associates of Tengu, here to see Jackus Ward.
Okay, okay. Oh.
Do you have an
And-
appointment?
From the from the inside, you hear basically what sounds like multiple locks being undone, although a few of them do sound magical in nature. And the door is thrown open, and you're met with a small gargoyle man who is about the size of Taxi, but a bit wider, and tiny wings. This one doesn't look like it can fly, but it essentially looks like a small gargoyle man who is holding open this door with relative ease. So, despite his small size, pretty strong.
I
Oh.
rudely like
Hi.
get my face up close to him and start inspecting him. It's like,
He just sort of looks at you like, yeah, this has happened before.
You're not
So
Jackass.
you're... No, I'm not.
Good. That'd be weird.
I'm Raph. What's your name?
Leave.
Your name's Leave?
Damn it. So hard.
Your name's Leave, damn it.
Well,
Wait.
Mr. Damn it.
I think Jack has called me Ken.
Kama?
Ken.
Ken.
Yeah.
Like
That's,
Kenpachi.
that's,
Yeah, Ken.
where's Jack is at? We need to talk with him.
He's inside. Just follow me, he says. And he sort of leads you in.
Thanks,
Sort of-
Ken.
You're welcome.
How am I doing, Hogarth?
You're doing good. I'm proud of you.
Am I cheery enough?
You're being very cheery,
It's the
and
inside
I
of
just
the
got
flag.
I gotta say,
The
You know what?
inside is very
not many
interesting.
people try as hard as you do, and I'm proud of
So-
you. Pat you on the back.
You walk into this building, and as you walk in, all of you kind of have to duck as another gargoyle flies over your heads, placing something, but you don't know exactly what he's doing because you're caught up with everything else going around. There's tons of just like floating magic lights around, and the walls are basically covered end to end in bookshelves that are filled with books, and tons of tables are laid out all across everywhere with magical equipment and alchemical equipment just basically strewn across them. There appear to be a couple of things brewing, and some things look like they're not going too well. It seems like some of them are basically about to explode, but as you watch, they don't. You're not entirely certain how, because everything you know about alchemy says that those kinds of things should not be happening, but
Mhm.
I mean, you've never been in here before, so who knows?
gonna
Additionally,
be,
there
like,
is
Bouncing off the walls, messing with things, looking at the books, going back to the tables, touching this, touching that. You know, like Kid in a Candy Store.
So the interesting thing is there doesn't appear to be any way to get upstairs. There are no stairs leading anywhere, and even there is a separate room off to the side where there appears to be quite a few children in there who are having a lesson taught to them by another gargoyle. Which seems interesting considering that gargoyle speaks very slowly, like an N. So there's a whole bunch of children over in that side room, and then in this room it's basically absolute chaos with gargoyles flying here and there and books sort of like strewn about, mage lights everywhere, and no way seemingly to get upstairs.
I'll raise both of my arms up and hold my hands open as if one of the gargoyles could grab me by the hands.
All right.
Is there a little banner with a blue circle on it?
No.
Dark Souls 3 reference.
No. There is not.
Oh man.
There's not.
Grappling hook.
All
No,
right,
as-
Maple.
As you're sort of looking around and Seven is sort of jumping from place to place, messing with stuff, you hear one of the gargoyles yell up, "Hey, Jackus! There are people here to see ya!" And Seven, the gargoyle, Ken, that led you in, is like, please touch that stuff. You might get hurt. And
Don't learn.
as you watch the
Can't learn if you don't get hurt.
Raph is just watching Seven going like, there's just no way to stop this force of nature. It's just the scorpion and the frog.
All right, very well. And so, coming downstairs now is Jackus, and basically, as you watch, the stairs are forming beneath him as he walks. Like, the first thing you notice is that suddenly a partial bit of staircase has formed from the ceiling, and then more and more as the spiral staircase continues downwards, and you see Jackus coming down. He's very excitedly coming down, and as he gets down there, you see this man.
This man.
Oh, a Genasi. Hello, Mr. Genasi.
With very fiery hair and a big old smile on his face. He says, "Ah, hello! Welcome to my store, the Arcana Galore. How can I help you?"
I look at you guys, 'cause you guys are the ones I want to talk to him.
I immediately stop what I'm doing, turn around, and like get like within touching distance of him, and be like it. I'm super excited because he's like being magic, and it's like, I heard you got some weird magic around here.
Sure, you could call it that.
Can you teach me?
Sure. I don't see why not. I have many books and teachings that I could. We can start. He motions with his hand, and some of the books start flying off the shelves towards him. He starts sort of running through them. Let's see. I've Beginner's Guide to Necromancy. All the spells a wizard could use. This one's always fun. I categorize it, we'll say, stable experimental spells.
Experimental.
I have a variety of books. If that is what you prefer. He says as he basically just tosses them behind him, and they float back to where they were.
I'm like physically, like you can see, I'm super excited. I'm like trying to figure out where to start, and I'm just completely speechless.
I see you are as interested in the arcane arts as I am.
Yeah. Books, magic, yes. Yes.
Very well.
yeah.
Please feel free to peruse at your discretion, he says, just sort of gesturing towards all the books on the wall.
Sweet.
Now for the rest of you, how could I help you? He says as he turns to you guys, slicking back his fire hair.
Well, appreciate you meeting us. Just a couple quick questions for you, if you don't mind. One is, you see Ada over here, and I gesture towards her, has this rather uncomfortable collar on. I'm sure you recognize it, but also is in possession of the matching stone. And I was wondering if you could show us how to connect the dots, so to speak, to take off the collar.
Oh yes, of course, quite easy. Ada, was it? Yeah. Could you come here, please? Sure. She says, sort of like cautiously looking over at you guys as she approaches him.
As she walks by, I whisper to her, "Don't try to eat him."
He looks a little spicy.
I'll try. And as she gets closer, he basically like holds his hand out like, "Can I have the stone, please?" And if I remember correctly, I think Taxi actually.
No,
No, we
Ada's
gave it
got
to
her
her.
own stone.
We gave it to her.
Oh. Then in that case, Ada hands it
Right.
over to him.
My ADD kicks in, and I study what he's doing.
All right. He begins muttering some strange arcane words, ones that none of you have ever heard before, and casting some somatic components with his hands over the crystal. And then he throws it on the ground and smashes it. As he does so, the light from inside Ada's collar just sort of starts to dim, and once it dims to a point where it really can't be considered glowing anymore, it just opens up and falls off. There you are.
Well, thank you.
Quite a simple matter, really. You just have to know the correct incantation to unlock.
Sure, you didn't just smash it.
Yes.
Would you
That
happen to have a
doesn't-
copy
yes.
of that? for
Mhm.
Seven to take with us, just in case we run into any more similar situations?
Oh, easily, easily. Sven, give me paper and quill. Another gargoyle flies by and drops parchment and quill into his hand, and he starts writing down exactly what you need to do. Rolls it up, ties it, and hands it to you. There you are.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No
So-
problem.
If you have just another moment more that we can borrow of your time,
Of course.
what do you know about ethereal rifts?
His eyes sort of light up at you.
That's what I thought.
What precisely are you referring? What kind of?
Well, I would assume that they would be quite valuable.
Yes, but what kind of?
I look at Seven.
What? Huh?
He notices you looking at Seven and looks over at him as well.
What kind of rift exactly?
It was. It was just a
Magic.
rift. It was like magic. I ain't never seen it before.
A rift to the ethereal plane, to the astral one, to a plane of the elements, like
None of the
It's
above.
just a rift.
just rift.
It ate magic, spit it back at us, and
It ate magic.
physical things didn't affect it.
Oh,
No idea. I mean, I
So
tried
we can-
touching it with a mage hand. We tried throwing dirt on it. And, nothing.
yes. These interesting. You see another book
Hmm.
fly off the walls and into his hand, and he starts leafing through it. Very quick.
I look over his shoulder as he's leafing through it.
You see, he closes it real quick.
Mhm.
So, where exactly did you encounter this?
But I think we'll get to that in a minute.
Right. Yes. So that rift, don't touch it. I'm sure you figured it as much already.
Yep. Definitely don't touch it.
Love it.
It's like one of us is missing an arm. Yeah, we'd be stupid enough to touch it.
You can only touch it twice.
That is something that actually has been showing up a lot more recently. It's been very interesting. And he throws the book behind his shoulder again, and it goes and floats back to its place. You see, what you encountered is the remnants of a rift between worlds, so to speak. You know how different levels of different planes of reality exist, right? Like different levels in the plane of fire.
Mhm.
And
Wh-
these are
Whether
like,
Ref does or not, he's still just nodding as if he follows along.
Mhm,
All right.
mhm, mhm,
Like the 9 layers of hell.
Sort of, yes. That is where that superstition. There are sort of what leave. That doesn't matter. These layers also occur on the material, you
mhm.
see,
Onions?
which is the one where we come. Sort of like onions, but
Like
not
ogres?
exactly. It's more like infinite stacks, one way and so to speak.
Oh.
However, every now and then, you can fold the two together. That is where a rift between worlds. And when a rift between worlds, interesting things that exist in one realm come to ours. Things that shouldn't exist by our own law of nature. It's quite fascinating. So again,
I'm
ask,
gonna pull out my
where'd
book
you find
and show him the drawings I took of the weird creatures we found. Like these things?
exact. That's rather large.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Where did you see them?
Outside?
Hmm,
Yeah, the rift's right outside of town.
I see. That's unsettling. Did it seem to be growing at all?
I mean, we didn't watch it very long. It's just kind of there.
I see. I see. Hmm.
Any
His
idea how we close
smile,
these?
Oh, I'm not entirely certain I could. Want to say it. There's a very worried expression on his face now. Hmm. Did anything perhaps come through that? Anything different? Anything, or did you just find?
I point at the drawing in the book.
Oh, oh yes.
Any idea what plane or world that's from?
I have never encountered creatures like that in my life, no matter how many different planes I have. No, that is, and they were able to just run around our world. They were not
Hungrily.
immobilized or
I mean,
disoriented, perhaps seemingly insane.
we immobilized them.
They were just hungry.
Mm,
Kind of scary.
that's not good. Canis, bring me my orb, please. Another gargoyle flies down and drops an orb that has swirling mist inside of it into his hands.
Yeah.
He starts sort of chanting over it and moving his hand over it. And an image starts to appear within the orb. And you can see what appears to be a map of the recent area. And there is a blip right where you saw that rift, and it appears to sort of wobble on the map inside of his orb. That's pure ethereal energy. That's not good. So I can definitely tell you one thing, he says as he sort of just places the orb on one of the tables. That was not caused by any magic user. I can definitely assure you of that.
Mhm.
The unfortunate thing is I don't think that the hypothesis I have is any better.
Hmm.
Nobody I know could handle that amount of raw ethereal energy without basically combusting from magic.
So then you need some kind of artifact to channel it?
But-
Like a stream bed?
You might need some sort of artifact to channel it, or it could be it was done specifically by our world and that world colliding, which seems little more likely, considering the fact that I don't think I have detected any artifacts of that kind of magnitude anywhere near here for quite some time.
Hmm.
That's definitely something that would have shown up on one of my. Bruno, nothing like that has shown up, has it?
Dude.
I don't think so, boss.
You
Okay, thank you, Bruno.
you think a mage could overload themselves and create one? Sacrificial summoning?
That may be possible. I've never heard it done before, but it is possible that
There's
you
some
could
crazy people.
overload yourself with magic and create enough pure ethereal energy to tear apart the very fabric of reality around you.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. This is new, but a little unnerving. Which is
Telling me.
Can I do an
Yes.
insight check to see if he's actually telling the truth about not knowing too about it, or if he's just trying to play us off so that he can go and do something with it later to his own benefit?
yeah, do an insight check.
Bam.
It's a 14.
All right. So, from what you can tell, he's being incredibly genuine. He seems very concerned about this, and it doesn't seem like he has the knowledge. It seems like if he had the knowledge, he would be more than willing to share it with you. but he doesn't, and that's worrying to him.
I want to look at books of spells.
So as far as I know, I mean, what do I know? I'm just a dirt grubber. I mean, I think this matter would be a lot better left in your hands.
Yes, I would agree. I should probably cordon off that area, perhaps send some of it plain.
Yeah, it's right by town. People are gonna wander by it, any minute.
Yes, I should probably.
It's
some sort of
okay.
berry.
I wrote don't touch it in the dirt. It's fine.
He sort of looks over at you and cocks an eyebrow.
I shrug.
You do know dirt can easily be.
I shrug. I didn't have a sign.
Very well, yes. I would love to go and do that, but fortunately, I have to stay here for now. As you can see, I sort of have some children here, and I left the tower all of my gargoyles with me. So they would have no way to get out of. Ooh, that would be bad. Mother would have my head for that.
You're cutting out a little bit on sensitivity.
Sorry.
It's alright. Maybe just speak a little louder so it picks you up. I don't know.
Just move closer to my mic.
That works.
Just get
Yeah, there we
right
go.
up close to it.
That works. But it's cutting out every time you get a low, you know.
All right, good to know.
So maybe, I can propose a trade, if it's all right with Seven, that he has some very intricate drawings and diagrams and notes on the nature of these creatures that might be able to help you source their plane. So perhaps we could trade you a copy of those in exchange for some reading material for Seven. Perhaps spells or something like that.
Sure, that would be just fine.
Mhm.
We are a store after all. Feel free to look around.
Mhm.
Well, thank you. So I'll take a cursory look around, but I'm guessing it's going to be nothing druidic in nature.
I mean, there are a couple things that are like, plants for alchemy and stuff, but nothing overtly nature magic. More so.
The circles and you.
Yeah.
Circles for dummies.
So I'll just go find a bench and sit down and sort of roll a coin across my knuckles while Seven and everyone else pokes around.
All right.
I'm just
Try to find the
kinda
biggest book on
looking
spells that I
around.
can use.
All right. You find a variety of different wizard spell books, but most of them are categorized by the
School.
the schools of magic.
Well, I'll go straight for the evocation first.
All right. You find a book basically categorizing a ton of evocation magic for first level and second level and third level. Some of them you've heard about, but some of them seem entirely new to you. Like, entirely new just in general. You've never really encountered some of these spells in name or in passing.
Mhm. I want to get that one.
All right. So Jackus sees you and is like, "Ah, yes, I wrote that one not too long ago. It's sort of a beginner's evocation guide, you might say,
Mhm.
and I included some of my own works in. Hopefully, my magics will be more mainstream sooner rather than later."
I can use them, right? Think I'll be able to use them?
I think so. Most of those are pretty stable. I think only one of them blew up.
Ooh, which one?
Don't
Don't remember.
have a lot of spells. A lot of
Do you sell potions?
Mm,
I sell some potions, yes. If you are looking for a wider variety of potions, you'll want to go over to Withered Cross.
Alright, well, Before I go there, do you have any potions that would make one physically stronger?
A potion of
Steroids.
strength. Let me see.
This has to be taken
He
in
begins. He begins sort of like looking through a quite small bag, but you can hear him moving around a lot of bottles inside. Ah, here we are. A potion of strength. And she pulls out a very small vial of sort of like shimmery orange liquid that is capped on top with a cork. He shakes it around, and it sort of fizzes a little bit.
How much for it?
Let's see. He begins like tapping his chin and sort of like looking up, like thinking about it in his mind, calculating it, and he says, "For this, you'd probably get 50 gold, something like that. Yeah, right."
All right. What does the potion, like, game statistic wise, what does the potion do?
Game statistic wise, that'll give you a +2 to your strength for 48 hours or 2 days.
All right.
So I have an idea.
Yes.
So, Jackus, do you have anything in the line of a bag of holding? I'm assuming Raph would know about sort of that kind of thing.
Yeah, bag of holding is like common.
Yeah, it's kind of a
You are
common magic
interested
item.
in bags of holding? Yes.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I could carry more
We've-
stuff.
We've got a job coming up where I think it might be useful.
Hmm.
A job?
How many you got? I want one.
Yeah,
How
you're part of the
many
job, remember?
I have a few of them
No.
that I use myself, but yeah.
Part of the family now, buddy.
See.
There's no getting rid of it.
He starts like going around the shop, just sort of like looking through his stuff, trying to find an empty one. He's like, "Aha! I have one. I haven't one empty one. I could make more, but it would take it would take quite some time.
How much for the one?
How much for the one? Oof. These things are not cheap to make. Probably I'd say to make another one. Yeah, this would have to be 650 gold.
Ah, perfect. You can charge it to Tengu.
Tengu said he would pay this.
Well, he hasn't said he'd pay it yet, but I'll sort that out.
Yep.
I have learned in the past not to take anything unless it comes directly from Tengu or one of his associates.
Yeah, sure. We can
Hey,
get it.
hey, Raven.
I don't mind getting him to send you a note. I'm sure he'll agree.
I can't hand this over to you unless I have some form of payment.
Yeah, of course. That's fine. Not a problem.
What's it take to make
We'll
more?
sort that out when we talk to Tengu.
Can I commission you to make more? 'Cause I could use like 2 or 3.
We,
You could take a
You
couple
get-
of weeks.
can you make us a bag of holding that can hold bags of holding?
To be
without
fair,
No.
Blowing
that
up?
already works.
No, it
That's-
works the same as putting a dimensional pocket in it.
No, it's worked that way since 40.
In the Sage advice on the D&D website, they've clarified putting any dimensional pocket inside of another dimensional pocket
Right.
creates. Yeah.
I had heard that in 4E and
Yeah.
like onward.
I toyed around with the idea of getting a bunch of bags of holding and just throwing them as grenades at people.
Yeah.
It's like
You're gonna
Those
destroy the
ones-
world.
some
Let's
fucking
not do
grenades.
that.
We already have one rift that we don't know what to do with.
well, these ones are we know about these ones.
If we make
These just
another
go to the
one, they'll
astral
just suck
plane.
each other up.
These just go to the astral plane. We can close them. It's fine. No,
I don't think that.
but I could use about 3.
That gives me the information that I need. I don't know how you're going to afford 3-7.
I rummaged through my pack and it's like, you know those things that I showed you pictures of?
Yes.
Would you be interested in parts of them?
You have parts of them? That would be interesting, yes.
Yeah, I'll pull out the weird face blade things that we pulled off the one.
Hmm. Fascinating.
These are on its face.
On its face.
On its face.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I can also tell you where the other pieces are. If you agree.
I see.
Mm.
I'm not sure if this would be worth 3 bags of holding, but I could definitely see them being worth at least 1.
1, 2. There were 3 of these ones and 1 with the face blades. I can get them back here to you. I can bring you the
Can you?
bodies. Yeah, I can bring you those.
Very interesting stuff.
They might be.
Well,
Well, they're not now.
These are one of a kind creatures to this plane of existence.
Yeah, they'll
There's
help you.
nothing else
They'll
like
help you
them.
figure out where they came from. They might figure out how to close this thing. There'll
Yeah,
at least
I
be
mean-
something to play around with. Maybe get some awesome new spell components out of them. I don't know. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about them. I was looking for parts myself. I was like, I can't use any of this. But you're always dabbling in new things. Maybe you can use the blood for something, or I don't know,
All
the
right.
skin.
All right. 2 then. 2 bags of holding.
That's cool.
We're gonna need a cart to borrow a cart and a horse to get them here.
Nah, I got this.
Yeah.
They weren't that
Oh
heavy.
yeah, you
Oh,
got
that's
your
Yeah.
you got your floating disc, don't you, buddy?
Yeah, they weren't that heavy.
Nice.
I'll walk outside and inform Raven that we've got to make a slight detour as we're getting set for the job later.
Alright. Very well. I will remain here then. I assume you will be back at some point.
Oh yeah, we'll be right back. We just gotta go run back towards the rift for a second to get something for Jackus so that we can get what we need for the job later.
Dude, she's trusting us. Let's just fucking bone out. Don't come back.
You're coming back.
I got enough
Yeah,
people.
sure we are, bud.
He's coming with you. He's gonna make sure you do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've got a suggestion for you, buddy.
Do you?
So Seven,
The
one
spell.
bag for you, one bag for me.
No, 2 for me, and then you get the one that he has. That they're paying for.
That doesn't seem fair. I think we should
Yeah.
me get one, you get one, and he get one. Actually, I think the rogue should have them because he steals things, and it's nice to have a rogue with a bag of holding.
I need them.
This is a greedy ass cat you're bringing along with us, Ref.
Yeah.
I press the digitation of squirt bottle and start squirting with it.
See fire flare up in my hands.
I
Alright,
press
so-
digitation
Oh,
and
God.
fire away.
Yeah.
Boom.
So I'm guessing we all walk back out there. I used
The
mold earth
spell's
to uncover
amazing.
them.
Alright.
We put them on a tensor's floating disc and haul them back.
Me and Seven
Alright.
are just having a cantrip magic fight. around. This is the shitty version
I-
of like an epic wizard battle.
I pick out behind my ear a flea, and I cast infestation on Hogarth.
Oh no.
Oh, you shit!
Give him
You
fleas.
get a con save, don't you?
It's a 15.
My con's not great.
Uh, yeah, so you take nothing happens. I just throw a flea at you.
Alright. Yeah, I see you do that, and I kind of step back and I kind of glare at you, and you see me like strum on my viola, but the music comes out like nails on a chalkboard as I cast vicious mockery on you. Nice, 1 second damage.
And I make it.
Guys, we're just having the shittiest wizard battle ever.
Such a snap fight.
This is awesome.
This is amazing. After that, I just kind of start laughing and throw my arm over your shoulder.
All right. It takes you about 3 hours to get there, unearth the whole hall and back.
Okay.
Does this count as a short rest during any of this?
You're kind of doing like
Manual labor.
I mean, I'm doing labor.
I'm not lifting anything. I'm just molding earth at this point.
Hey, it's like,
Yeah, he's just molding the earth to push it.
yeah.
I'm just watching.
Has to get it up there.
Oh well, just wondering.
All right. Yeah, I suppose this could count as a short rest, but I will say it counts as a short rest for everything except healing. So you could not restore any hit dice.
okay. Well,
Okay.
I get up to 2 levels worth of spell slots back. Because of arcane recovery.
Arr.
2 first level spells.
I can play a song of rest for us, but that just really helps for healing. So
Fine.
All right.
still play a lovely tune as we do our work.
Just one other quick question for you, Jackus. Do you have anything that perhaps
Explodes.
potion that would eat wood?
Well, hold on. Before you get there, before you walk inside, you do notice that there's now a sign on the outside of the door that says temporal disturbance inside, please wait until X time. And that X time is, let's see, what time would it be now? Wouldn't be anywhere close to noon yet. Equivalent of noon. It says to wait until 1600. Which is about 2 hours away. And as you walk up there, you all notice that a bunch of kids are walking past you over towards the west side of town, or no, which is over that way. And if someone wants to make a perception check, please.
I
I
will
don't see
try.
things.
Yeah. Bro.
I see.
Raph.
I see better.
Oh gosh.
I knock on the door.
All right, so, Zan, you notice a little girl among the group has that appears to be someone's coin purse, sort of floating next to her that she sort of grabs out of the air, and she sort of whispers, "Thank you." As she does so.
One of our coin purses, or like some like a
Yeah,
random
you
somebody else?
you look down and yours is gone.
Mine?
Yep.
I pull out an arrow.
All right.
And I am going to shoot my bag of money.
You're going to shoot your bag.
Or you said it's a coin purse, my coin purse.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a hole in the bag of holding. Ah.
I hope I could aim it at the kid. I'm thinking about shooting the kid. Like,
Yeah, shoot the kid. She's creepy.
Yeah. Holy fuck, what is that?
I'm not hitting the
Holy
kid. I'm
shit!
hitting
It's
my-
huge.
God.
Mm.
She casts enlarge on herself.
So basically, I see Zankas
Shooting at a
drawing an
kid.
arrow and shooting at a child.
More than that, shooting into a group of children.
I believe I hit the coin purse.
Can I, regardless of whether it's before or after, just as an almost instinctive reaction, I want to thorn whip his bow out of his hand.
Already
Uh,
shot.
What the fuck?
Roll a acrobatics check against his acrobatics. See which one of you goes first.
Acrobatics.
Yeah, he goes first. He shoots the arrow first. But you
And
do
then you
knock,
thorn whip him.
yeah, and then you knock it out of his hand. All
Yo,
right.
bro! You just shot a child!
I'm gonna run over to the kids and make sure they're okay.
So
Stole my
they're
coin
He hit the coin purse.
You-
Imagine that.
yeah, you nicked her arm and shot the coin purse into the dirt.
Okay, maybe next time she'll learn not to steal from somebody.
Yeah, that's.
And
I
as
thought-
she's like starts to freak out, just basically disappears. Like just sort of, that effect, that special effect where like someone just basically gets drawn into a point in the air. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
with her, and she appears like 15 feet away, looking back like, what the hell?
I run over to where the arrow is. Do I see the coin purse?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Did you just try to steal from a child? And I pick up the coin purse and shake it at him.
No, that was my coin purse that she stole from me.
I look at
No,
the child.
he's trying to steal from me. She
Let's
says.
get- As it's got a pink bedazzled X on it.
As an insight for her deception.
Yep.
Can I? I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to. I'm gonna persuade you.
Bro, you're stealing from a small child.
Oh, by the way, all the other kids have basically
Scattered.
gone off at this point. Yeah, they're basically like, as soon as they saw the arrow, they just all basically ran.
But
This
she
is a
hasn't
little
run.
orphan girl you just shot. You are a
There's
little
exactly 77 pieces of gold in that pouch.
I start counting the gold.
I'm gonna keep an eye on the girl while Bogart's counting.
You just saw that bitch disappear.
Yeah, she did just use some magic. That was. Yeah,
What's
I count
magic?
I count the 77 pieces. He's not wrong.
I put my hands on my hips and just look at her
I'm not
and
mad. I'm disappointed.
channel that. That is absolutely 100% what I was gonna say. And I
Such
crook
a
one
dad.
finger and say, "Come here, come here."
I come over dejected.
No,
Raph,
not to you, to the girl.
Oh,
Raph,
I mean, he is a little.
I need
rough.
you to make a strength save.
Make a strength save.
here's
Yes.
your.
Oh God!
That would kill me. Sin.
Button.
I want that.
What?
Oh, what is the save?
What is the save?
Her save is 16.
Ooh.
Oh
What
my
the
god!
fuck is
Okay,
this
so,
small child?
As you were like beckoning her over to you, you immediately feel gravity intensify upon you as you smash into the dirt.
I told you.
Face
this
first.
Bitch had it coming.
Oh my gosh, are you all right? She says as she runs over to you.
I brush it off, and as I'm brushing it off, I nonchalantly cast Cure Wounds on myself.
All right.
Yeesh.
She sort of looks at you like, "Whoa, you can do it too?"
Yeah, though you do need to learn a couple lessons about when is an appropriate time to use a spell and when is an inappropriate time to use a spell. See, when I
Roll
was your
perception,
age,
I
Really,
hand
little
I had to
Thank you.
walk up. I had to walk uphill in the snow both ways to school.
hand Zenkus his gold pouch back, and I'm like, sorry, I didn't believe you, man.
No, you're fine.
that's a 21 on perception.
He kinda
Yeah.
just
So
shot
you notice
the-
that she appears to be trying. You have a knife on you, right?
Yeah, like a survival knife.
Yeah. She's trying to take that off you while she's like helping you.
Oh,
up.
I was fully expecting the whole street urchin hit you and run. So no, I was absolutely keeping an eye on that. I just never chance to say that.
Yeah.
And plus, I've been around taxi for long enough, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we know our goblin
I sort of grab one hand sort of under the chin, and without even looking back at the knife or my gold pouch, just don't do that. You really don't want to do that. What's your name?
I am.
What's your full name?
I don't have one.
All right, Brian. Now I want you to listen to me very carefully. You knock this off, or I'm gonna go tell Jackus what you're up to.
I don't know if Jack is there.
He wouldn't
Oh,
care.
trust me, he would.
He wouldn't care.
Why would I tell you that? Jeez.
Did I see her in the classroom full of kids?
Oh yeah, she was in there.
Yeah, so a brief description of you will basically allow him to bar you from his classes for the future, and I'm sure that's not something you want.
She sort of shrugs like, okay.
Learn a little restraint, kid, because the next arrow, I'm not necessarily going to be able to stop him.
You didn't stop the first one.
Yeah, but
Oh shit!
I'm just,
But
I was
I say that
pretending.
as it comes out of my mouth. I'm sorry, Raph. It was a good one.
Not trying to be mean. She's gonna end up dead
she's
if
gonna-
she keeps it.
Yeah, someone's gonna hurt this small child.
Fucking kill this 8-year-old. Good to know.
She stole. All right, that's
So,
bad.
I pat her
Where-
on the head.
You're lucky she's not losing a hand.
We're a lawful good party. That shit don't fly around here.
And I walk off with a hand on anything that she could try to lift as I'm leaving.
I grow 3 extra hands and make one out of dirt.
That I'm gonna go. Why don't we just bury the stuff again outside his tower, so no one screws with it?
So
Just sitting there.
all of you see as you like turn away from her that she that in front of you appears to be basically a large spider, like a gigantic spider, as you turn around and try to go back to Jackus.
I was already
Appeared
sitting
out
at
of
the door.
nowhere.
I was already at the
That's
door.
fine.
I didn't care
Right.
about what they were doing.
I'll cast Speak with Animals as a ritual if it's not moving.
It's not moving. It's just like sitting there.
Yeah, so then I just start chittering at it in a spider tongue.
It doesn't respond. It just sits there.
So then
I
I just,
clap my hands on it.
so then I just look back at Brienne and wink,
Pull
and then
off
chitter at
my-
her in the spider language.
Oh, it's not Brienne. It's Joyanne. Let me spell it out for you. Hold on. There you go.
It's basically, I'm saying to her in the spider language, she's got some good tricks, but other people have tricks too.
This is the first I've. Other than Jackus, I didn't realize so many people could.
That's the thing about people. You never know what they're like by looking at the outside.
Is her clothes dirty at all?
Uh,
Like orphan, dirty.
somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'll snap my fingers and press the digitation on her clothes, and like any dirt on her's gone.
Whoa. How'd you do that?
Magic,
I
kid.
want to learn that one.
Well, if you be good and don't steal from people, then you'll learn good magic like this.
Right. Okay.
Kind of walk back over to the group.
This.
Kind of bored.
Then I'll start playing like a
Who's the kid?
what's the word I'm looking for?
Ooh, kitty!
Oh shit! I break one of the strings of my mandolin as I pull it out. Oh, fuck! I tightened it too much.
At you. You're not very fucking good at that, are you?
Shut the fuck up, you little brat! I pull out my swords. It's go time!
She still got that cut on her arm.
Yeah.
Does she have a good?
Good.
Oh, bitch deserves it.
Don't
I'm
push
done
that
helping
shit.
this kid. She's mean.
Can I tell what kind of magic user she is? Is she like a sorcerer or like a wizard? Book?
Warlock?
Arcana.
Can't.
Yeah, from what she's doing, it seems very natural to her. She's definitely a sorcerer.
Okay. Damn, I lose interest immediately.
Yeah, we're like, I don't want to talk to this child anymore. Let's just get our bags of holding so we can do this.
I was looking
job.
for a spell book to maybe try to lift it and copy down some shit.
Nice.
She could probably teach you how to do some spells, but she doesn't really know how she does it herself. So
Exactly.
Most sorcerers don't.
I have a better chance of lifting Jackus's book and copying
Yeah.
shit down. Even if I
Hey.
can't use it, I can write down the stuff and the materials and do it later.
yeah.
He might let
Trying to teach about not stealing.
Didn't we trade Jackus for the book anyway?
No,
Yeah,
not
he-
his spell book.
Oh God. Learning
His spell
Jackus's
book's
spell-
probably like
His spell book like spans multiple books. Like
yeah. Yeah.
He's got a spell encyclopedia.
yeah, pretty much.
He's got the player's handbook. He's got the
Hold
player's
on, hold on.
He just has
I
the
got
player's
the
handbook.
perfect picture. Let me find it.
Yeah, you know that thing's cursed anyway. You try read it, it's probably gonna explode your mind.
Or it'll explode in my face. How'd that happen once?
There's a lot of in the modules. There's a lot of wizards who put like
Traps on their
spells of
fucking
warding.
books.
Yeah, traps on their spell books.
Yeah.
Let's see. It wasn't that long ago. I'll find it.
All right,
in
so
my-
is this what time is it now? What time are we waiting until for the door to open?
It's been about like 20 minutes, which you've been doing with this girl. Although
Yeah,
she has, she's sort of like sticking around, like she's interested in you guys now. She sort of like is playing in the dirt over here, just like watching you guys.
Yeah, her and Taxi are gonna get along great.
Yeah, Taxi walks over to her and it's like, "Hey, kid, that was you need to learn."
You want some drugs?
Awesome.
Awesome.
My child's wise.
Yeah.
No,
Wasp.
taxi, come on! Don't mess with a small impressionable child.
He's not allowed 100 feet within a
That's
school.
kind
This look like 100 feet to you.
Oh my god.
God.
All right. So, do we have long to wait for that thing for his
Yeah, you have
lunch
about
break?
2 hours to.
All right, let's go talk to Dad. Dad bird.
Bird dead.
Can I call him
Bird?
Daddy?
All right,
Birdman
we'll just go ahead.
is,
Why don't we
little
just go ahead
Max
and bury the
Yeah,
bury the
let's put 'em
bodies
in
here?
there.
Yep. So we do the same shindig all over again.
All right.
Just this time it's.
I
it needs to be-
think we should take him with us.
People
As
should take
you're
him to
doing that-
the pub.
As you do that, Joanne helps out by casting Descent on all of them to sink them in the ground faster.
Oh,
I give her a high five.
There.
I give her an arrow in the arm.
I'm sorry, what? Are you
What?
actually stabbing this
no,
child?
no, no, no,
no,
no,
no, no, no,
It
no,
was a
no.
joke. It was a joke.
Okay, good.
What level caster is this brat?
5.
Max.
He's at least 5th.
Yeah, she's 5th.
She's dead.
Jesus.
She's a very powerful caster.
Yeah, we need to
She's
we
fine.
need to nip this in the bud quick. Slit her throat, drop her in the river. We do not need this child growing up. All
Let me
right.
learn descent first. It seems pretty strong.
Oh, we're going into a descent right now.
I'll go ahead and give her one of my 2 remaining good berries since they're about to expire anyway. That'll help with her arm because they
Hallucinogenic
give her
mirrors.
1 HP anyway.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and eat the other one myself. And then those are all the ones I had for myself.
Those only restore 1 HP, right?
Yeah.
That's right, and it's worth a day's
Right,
worth of food. But I figure it's just a scratch in the arm, so
No, it heals immediately.
This is the
Mhm,
first
Scott.
meal she's had in 5 days. So
Oh,
Oh,
with those
no.
sticky fingers, I
Not
doubt
actually.
Yeah.
To send seagulls at that point. There's lunch.
Goosh! And they just fall to the ground.
That image is hilarious.
That'd be
Just
perfect.
seagulls flying around, minding their own business, and then suddenly, FOOM!
Crack as their neck snaps from hitting the ground. Dinner! Yay!
Seagulls not good eating, but if you're hungry enough.
Yeah, right.
Rats of the air, my dude. I'll eat a rat if I have to. Okay,
Alright.
so you all basically go to Raven and are like, so should we go to him?
Oh,
To
I just
Benny?
gotta go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. She looks over at the rest of you and is like, why are you engaging with that child from the orphan?
Hey. Did we ask you how you got to be so pretty? No. Don't ask us questions. You don't want the answer to.
Flips. Whatever. The one side of her shirt off her shoulder.
Found it.
What did you found it?
Jack's spellbook.
Sweet.
Let's see this.
I'm gonna save it first. Let's see. Then we go here, then we go here in general, and then we put this. And we hit open. And we hit upload.
Yep, pretty much.
Is that Black
Nice.
Clover?
Yeah, it is actually.
I can tell from the art.
Yeah, it's the Magic Emperor's spellbook.
Hey Sean, what do you think of the newest Berserk?
I haven't read
Oh,
the newest
God.
one yet.
No, well, be disappointed like everybody else.
Yeah, his
Let me
fucking
look at it real
spellbook
quick.
is like
I
infinite.
may have read the newest one. So.
Nick told me about it.
Are they off
earlier
the boat?
today.
Finally off the boat?
Off the boat.
Good.
No, I haven't read the newest one yet. Well,
They're she's super disappointed.
I'm gonna get a drink real quick and do a once over on my teeth because they're super sensitive for some reason.
Okay.
It's weird.
I'm gonna let you guys do that, and I'm gonna read.
Right as rep.
I'm back, sorry.
It's all right.
They're going to get drinks.
So I'll go ahead and ask Joanne. So, do you have parents?
I'm sure I did.
Everyone has parents. It's just whether they're here or not.
I
So you
didn't know them.
Do you stay with Jackass?
No.
Stays
Stay
in the
here.
orphanage. Yeah.
It's like right over there. She says, and she points over at the wall. On the other
Alright.
side of that.
Just curious.
She looks over at Adamanto like, whoa.
Yeah, you two should get along pretty good. I'll wave Ada over. Say, see, Ada, this is a child. And what race is Joanne?
That's an interesting question. You're going to
Yeah,
need to
some more.
roll something to determine that. I
I'll
would
roll something.
say roll. It'll either be history or nature. I'll say it's your choice, history or nature.
Yep, they're both the same for me. So I'll go with nature just out of habit.
I'll go with history. Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's
neither
a
of you are
strong
able to
7.
determine what she is. It's very strange. She looks mostly human for the most part. Like,
Can I try?
go for it. History or nature, whichever you feel more comfortable with.
You're the same.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, you're
boy.
able to determine immediately. That's a changeling right there. She's a little changeling girl.
I tell them, I'm like, yo guys, that's a changeling.
So I'm assuming we've heard of changelings.
Yeah, you've probably heard of changelings. They're basically shapeshifter people, in a sense.
What's happening?
We discovered what Joanne was.
Gotcha. A freak. No.
Changeling.
An orphan.
Yes.
A little bitch.
Also a changeling.
Mm.
And there's a
Like,
better
how
image of
young?
her, more close. She's like pretty damn young. She's only like 4 feet tall and like very skinny. Like
Around what
she
age?
looks around 8-ish.
Okay.
Although it's a little difficult to tell because
Yeah.
her body
Changeling.
seems sort of underdeveloped in comparison to most human children of that age, but it doesn't seem like it's like she's malnutritioned or anything. It just seems like she is smaller proportion than most humans.
Yeah, it could be worse. She could be a blob.
I mean, she could be if she wanted to.
Mm,
She is a changeling after all.
exactly. Yeah, we'll just burn it. That's fine.
Just burn her. Just burn her.
She can't regenerate if we break it, right?
I have the taxi on my shoulder. You know, the angel and devil. And I've got a taxi on my shoulder, going, speaking in my ear. Hey kid, what are you doing later? We got a job.
Sounds like you're hitting. You do
Which
anything after
is-
this?
God damn it, taxi. She's 8.
Like my women like
No,
I like
I
my
didn't
whiskey.
actually
Age
say that.
12.
Yeah. Actually, Taxi probably would say that. He'd probably be like, "Hey kid,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we got something going on that
That's teaching them to steal. It's not what we want.
I want to steal.
I want to steal.
Is everyone back?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That's the only one.
All
Going.
right, so we make our way to Tengu's palace.
Yes, Tengu's palace. Sure. So, Raven leads you outside of the walls again.
Is she
and-
following us?
Yes. She's talking with Taxi.
I look at Raven and I say, "Do you know her?"
She's Joyanne, I believe. She's caused a bit of trouble every now and then when when it is assumed she is associated with us. But for the most part, she's relatively harmless.
All right. Just checking.
So Raven leads you outside of the walls and towards this very dilapidated looking house thing. Just right here. And she says, "Alright, this is it. Go ahead inside."
Off to you.
I knock on the
Very
door.
well. She just sort of walks past you as you knock and pushes it open, and it creaks slowly open. So you head into this building, and this building looks bad. Like, it doesn't look like anyone's lived here forever. It looks like everything is run down. There are places where like the ceiling's caved in. Bad things here. And as immediately just like Raven walks past all of this and walks up to part of the wall, pushes in one of the stones on the wall, and it slides open to reveal a staircase leading down. So this is where we will really be going. Go ahead, she says.
Ladies first.
I push
Very
past
well.
everybody and go downstairs.
Yeah, I got the fucking.
Is there light down there?
Yeah. There's some light sort of like trickling up. But for the most part, like there doesn't appear to be light from the stairs, but there is light at the bottom. But
Okay.
so I'll move you all.
Can I determine? Well, going down here, I want to see if I can figure out who built it. Did they build it or they just moved in? I have this thing that lets me figure that out.
Uh, Yeah, no. They definitely.
They definitely built it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking
Seemingly-
pros and their building skills, am I right?
Hey.
Maybe
should
they
end
weren't
up
the
like-
ones to build it.
Star.
It was built with their money. We'll say that. They might not have built it themselves, but
It was built for them in their style by somebody else.
yes,
Got it.
correct. I think you should also be able to see this. I don't know.
And
Unless
Raven's really nonplussed about Joanne coming with us.
she doesn't seem to care.
I'm kind
Fair
of
enough.
not.
So secret. Took me 2 days to find these people.
Yep.
Just vaguely muttering to myself.
But Joanne, as she comes downstairs, like there's this glazed look on her eyes as she gets further downstairs until like she hits the bottom and she just sort of like sits there at the bottom step. Like
You alright, kid?
she doesn't respond.
I'll go up and sort of give her a gentle shake on the shoulder.
Nothing happens. She just sort of just shaked around.
Raven.
Yeah, if anyone that we don't want coming down here comes down there, that happens.
And does it
Bruh.
unhappen when she goes back up?
Yes, she'll be fine.
Alright.
You guys want me
Sounds
to
She won't
pay?
remember this place.
Can I learn how
I'm
to do
sorry,
that?
what?
Can you teach me how to do that?
I
It's gotta
would
be a ritual,
assume
right?
no. I am not certain. I was not the one that cast it.
You're no help.
I apologize.
I just imagine Seven's busy looking around all the walls and stuff for some artifact or
Yeah.
it's gotta be coming from somewhere in here. It's in the walls, it's in the wall.
The hell? That's weird.
They're coming out of the wall, sphincters.
I'm sorry. When I get scared, I say sphincters a lot. I'm gonna
Claptrap.
take 10 minutes and cast detect magic as we're walking through this place.
All right.
Oh.
As I relate it to all.
Yeah, there's definitely some magic coming through here. There's quite a bit of illusion magic happening right there at the entrance. Whatever it is, that's basically it's half enchantment, half illusion. And it just sort of seems to be enchanted on specifically the staircase itself. Hmm. Hmm.
Alright, so take us to Tengu, Raven.
DM needs to put Tengu in there. There he is.
We got a job to do.
Kingu. He is the master.
Can't
Alright,
you just
so
copy
she
and
leads
paste
you-
them off of different ones that are already resized?
I would do that, except I accidentally deleted him off the last one. So
Oh, that would be a
couldn't
issue.
really do that. Yeah. She takes you up here into there. And he's sitting at this table here.
I sit the one closest to the door.
Right? She goes and sits right next to him.
I'll go ahead and sit on the other side next to him.
And Amanta's just going to sit right next to you. Jeff.
Are there any decanters of wine, wine glasses, stuff like that?
Absolutely. In front of each seat, there is a wine glass, and there's 2 decanters of wine in front of you all.
I'll go ahead and refill Tengu's glass and then fill mine as well.
Thank you. It's very
And then
kind.
I'll give Ada just like a little splash.
Ada's
She
already
looks at it
drunk.
Curiously. She
I
looks at it
take her
curiously.
splash and push it away. No, she doesn't need any more.
She growls at you, grabs the wine glass, and just
I slap it out of her hand so it falls on the ground. She can't have it.
I moved
He's a
mine.
child.
I moved mine in front of her.
I slapped that one on the ground. Stop trying to make this child drink.
not
I used Mage Hand
Yeah.
to slap Hogarth in the face.
Cheeky.
the dragon girl,
Oh, okay. I forget. I got
not
confused.
Joyanne.
I don't give a fuck if she drinks or not. Fuck her.
Yeah,
The girl is catatonic at the stairs.
yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I don't slap things in the ground. I assume this is a little girl we were talking about. No, yeah.
No. She's over by the stairs, like.
No, I scooped her up. I'm carrying her like my child.
Oh.
I don't want her
I
here.
still slap him in the face with the Mage Hand.
Fucker.
Put that shit
Joyanne.
I'm
down.
just-
You're just like fucking carrying.
Is she? How old is she? Like 8?
8.
Like 8.
She's my child now. I'm adopting this bitch. You guys think I'm joking?
Mhm.
She's a
I
5th
just-
level sorcerer. Fuck that. She's coming with us.
She doesn't know how to
Adoption is
use
a
her
long
magic.
and laborious process.
I don't like
Kinds
to
of
think. I don't like to
forms.
call it kidnapping. I like to call it adoption with extra steps.
You mean with less steps?
Yeah.
Sure, whichever works for you.
That just sounds like slavery with extra steps.
I have a collar.
No.
But we know how to take it off.
Is it a
You
flake
know how
collar?
to take it off.
We can take it
Wait,
off
isn't
when
this
she's
exactly
mature.
what
No.
Draken- Isn't this exactly what Draken did? Nah,
Nah.
don't worry.
No, this kid
Mental
knows
note
better.
to self: make sure I get taxi to lift those later.
If they didn't become completely inert, I'd put them on myself.
Yeah. All right, Tingu.
If he didn't give us the spell, I would have put one on and then tried to replicate what he did. To try to figure it out.
It doesn't work though.
I could try,
You can't be the one to take it off. Let's be someone else.
but I have it. The thingy.
It doesn't work like
None of this would stop him. We all know.
It would.
you know. And we would just have a collared cat for the rest of the campaign.
Or we just go back to Jacka's ward. Be like, I just wouldn't know words would be required. Just
He would
point
just be like,
7, point at the collar,
Puppy dog eyes.
just hand him the gem. You know, wait outside.
wait outside.
Just like no words, just no words.
He's just
Okay.
like he would just like nod at you guys, just like, yep. No, no.
Alright.
All right. So, Tengu looks over at all of you and says, "So, I have heard that few of you are looking for
Yeah, we've been looking for you. What is the name of your little organization?
Blackwing Thieves Guild. Of
Wow,
course,
you're
you
just gonna
won't.
give that out.
remember.
Jeez.
You won't be able to remember.
I'll write it down.
He's got you.
I take notes.
That's cute.
So he's taking the minutes of the meeting. There'll be
Um,
an official distribution afterwards.
As I'm holding the child, I'm going to press the digitation up under my clothes, a tattoo that says the name of the guys we work for.
All right.
It lasts for an hour, you know.
It's not magical. Whatever.
What
So
was it?
does-
The Black Wings.
Blackwing Thieves Guild. Does that make any, like, as far as like a history? Does that ring any bells?
You can definitely do a history check.
I will as well. I'm standing by the door holding this baby. I don't want her anywhere near
That's
this.
an 8.
All right.
I assume I mean, I know about them, but
You know about them. You don't know their
Yeah.
name.
well, I mean, I knew
You were
about the.
hired anonymously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't not. I was assumed not by them. I'm doing that thing.
Yeah.
So I know who the two.
You've heard tell of something similar to that, Hogarth, but like you've never heard that name specifically. I mean, you knew there was a thieves guild somewhere around this area that was pretty influential, but no one really was able ever to find out a lot of information about them.
Gotcha. All right,
So
I
yeah,
keep that in my pocket.
we've been looking for you. Or at least Taxi and I have been.
Yes. Have noticed you going.
And I'm guessing that you know why.
It's easy to determine why you persistence, he says, sort of gesturing toward, and we can make a relatively educated guess about you. Is motioning towards
You're
text.
you're cutting in and out, Flavor.
Sorry. Yes, we can make a relatively educated guess about Taxi over there. For you, Raph, we have a very good idea of why you're here.
I figured. So I know that services don't come free in this capitalistic market of ours.
Of course.
And you mentioned, that little job that you need done.
Yes.
So, as
Well,
far as I'm concerned,
yes.
you keep an eye on Ada. Make sure nothing happens to her as she goes about learning about her freedom, and a gesture so that he notices that the collar's gone.
Sort of cocks an eyebrow.
And we'll take care of this arms shortage that you have.
I see.
And in exchange, for me personally, I believe there's some information and some services of the discretionary kind that you could leverage.
We could, yes. But you see, there is a little bit of a problem with what you mentioned. He snaps his fingers and Draken walks.
Yeah, that's a pretty good facsimile. I look him over. I like walk around him like he's a showpiece.
Is that really necessary?
Oh, you've even got the voice.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
I can do that too.
I give him a little poke. Is he flesh and blood?
Yeah. Oh, he's flesh and blood.
Ha! Well, then what's the problem? You seem to have your solution.
Yes, we do. The thing is, we actually have something different in. You see, you all appear to be quite capable of handling yourselves. Something that we don't have in surplus. Unfortunately, most of our skills revolve almost entirely around
Killing?
assassination, thievery, things of this nature. Very
Being
I could
bad?
do that too.
underhanded.
Alright.
Not necessarily a direct approach.
Yeah. Underhanded is I don't think after the last incident, very RMO.
Indeed. And there is a place that we've been wanting to explore for a while, but no one has approached us with the right
With the right.
Now,
You
You're
out
cutting
real
in and
bad.
out again.
sorry. There is a place that we are interested in exploring for a while now, but no one with the correct capabilities has approached us yet. You all appear to have those capabilities quite a bit, and we were interested if we might interest you in perhaps exploring this location, perhaps bringing back anything you find.
What
Some
place?
of your finds would be yours, of course.
What place is
There
this?
is a very old ruins
Oh, I was gonna go there
outside of
next week.
town.
Psh.
Very well. Then it sounds like you are already heading.
Wait, were we going there?
That depends. I mean, well, we've talked about two jobs now. First one's to do with the boat, and we all have sort of figured out what I get out of that. But I don't think there's been anything to incentivize these other fine folks to go deal with your
The
armament
boat
situation.
is not an issue. We can just send our Draken over here. He sort of wiggles his fingers in a hello wave at you. And continue the deal as normal.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I had this really cool plan, though.
Mm,
If we
You see-
could have the deal go off as normal, things would be smooth.
You see, I'm going to go ahead and keep telling him the plan, just like he didn't say anything.
Okay,
Just because you've got to brag about it, right?
fair enough.
So, see, what we're going to do is get a couple bags of holding. And then I'd shapeshift into like a mouse. Make my way all the way through the ship as a mouse. Also, by the way, I have to get some vials that can melt either wood or metal. See, pop up in the room where all of it's stored. Bag of holding. Grab all the stuff, toss it in there. Shapeshift back into like a mouse, and then run back out the ship. Done. Problem solving.
I see. Interesting. That would make it so that we wouldn't have to pay for things, as our plan sort of relies on our Draken taking the missing one's place and the deal continuing on.
well, you wouldn't have to pay anything anyway. You're just
You gotta pay
paying
yourself.
Yeah, you're paying your own guy.
It's a little more complicated than that. If we are to have him take over, we can't just have him send the funds to us. That would be suspicious. It has to be more subtle.
So why don't you just steal it?
Stealing it, and with those who are not directly tied to us, be quite useful.
Fuck it, let's just sink the boat and pick it up off the floor.
Just
Random terrorist attack. Oh, I'm gonna loot the wreckage.
We found an orphan that's great at sinking things.
I don't think
That's what I'm
descent
saying.
works on an entire.
Well, this doesn't have to work on the
just has
entire
to
boat.
poke a
Just
hole in it.
certain sections.
He has to poke a hole in it.
Oh my god.
I mean, I could catch the damn thing on fire. Fuck. It's just
So
a boat.
I think we're getting a little sidetracked as far as this goes because
Basically, you were
see-
overthinking it.
oh yeah, totally. But so this is a foot in the door sale here, as far as things go. I think what you're really looking for in the skills that you don't have is people to explore these ruins of yours.
Yes.
So funding that kind of expedition is quite a bit more work than just a boat heist.
Correct.
So I'm sure that the other fine folks of this group would be expecting a bit more as far as compensation goes,
Absolutely.
including an advance to cover the expenses anticipated,
Naturally.
and a full written brief on everything that your organization knows about the ruins, their history, what lived there, its current status, magical, not magical, etc. Your standard briefing, you know.
Of course.
What's the name of the place we're going?
The name. Most just know it as the catacombs. And yes, it has been 2 hours. Most just know it as the catacombs, which are outside in the mountainside. But its original name I've been able to find. He pulls out his little book again and looks at it and he says, Ketola-san. Ketola-san? I don't know. It's very hard to read. It's a very strange collection.
Spell it.
What?
Spell it.
Ketola.
Oh,
Hey, can I give a history check? See if I would have heard anything about that.
Yeah.
I start just making my way out. Go back to Jackie's place.
I grab your arm and pull you back in as you're going out. As I'm like holding the baby.
What? To come back
No.
in 2 hours.
Look, we're in the middle of something right now. You gotta be here for this.
Why? I'm
That's
just gonna
important.
go there anyway.
This is important big boy time. Come in here and sit down.
You sit down.
That's how you.
I'm holding the baby.
Well, I'll take her outside.
No, I
Alright.
don't trust you.
Man, it's like herding cats in here.
Exactly. Go sit down.
Right in his face.
Oh God, that's
Are you-
horrible.
Are you going to sit down though after you do that?
No, I'm hoping it's a distraction and walk out.
I need a wisdom save.
And you guys are using all your good spells on each other.
Watch his ass make it. Fuck you. No, cat, get back here. I'm still holding onto your shoulder.
Grab his tail.
Go sit down.
Grab his tail or that little patch, like the back of his neck, so he's just
Scruff
kind of
him.
paralyzed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
grab
one
your
open.
scruff.
Don't want to.
Oops.
Since I come back in a couple hours.
There it is. All right.
Oh
so,
shit.
Embedding itself right next to the door 7 that you're trying to leave out of is a kunai that Raven has thrown at you.
I will very slowly get up, walk towards it,
Please do not leave.
pull it out of the wood of the door, and then slam it in the table immediately in front of Raven. Lean close and just say, "You fuck with them, you fuck with me."
I know.
Yeah, I'm
it.
kind
They're
of
my
fucking, kind of fucking with him though.
We heard everything. You want
So
to go
watch
here
yourself.
and get shit and bring it back, right?
Our meeting has not concluded.
But I got a date with
You don't go
Jackets.
throwing fucking monk shit at my people. You got that?
Very well. She retrieves the kunai and slips it back into one of her holders across most of her body.
So I'll sit back down and just start drinking wine like nothing happened.
I'll let out a
Raven
See,
hasn't
7?
touched hers, by the way.
You made Raph
Sorry?
use his outside.
Everyone else has sort of been sipping at it, but everyone but Raven.
I gave
The
mine
only
to
per-
Amanda.
I wasn't
Yeah,
drinking either.
I haven't. I've been
Yeah.
holding a baby.
I know.
Is the wine any good?
Yeah, it's decent wine. It's pretty good wine.
Guess I'll, with a dissatisfied huff and an impatient tapping on my foot, sit back down.
Just the constant
Mhm.
looking around the room. Like,
I just
where's the
imagine
clock?
there's just like when he's sitting there, just the tail just going back and forth, just like
Oh yeah, for sure.
Irritated.
Mhm.
Yep,
All right,
maybe a
so
bit of puffed up fur.
all right, Tengu. So at this point, Raf's sort of almost like lost his cool a little bit and is having trouble bringing it back into Hogarth levels.
Right.
Nice.
All right, Tengu, let's talk turkey here.
But they're crows.
How much are you? How much are you offering for this job?
Up front, I would offer each of you 500. On a completed mission, 500 platinum.
Woo-hoo!
I imagine you doing that. Woo!
That's a lot of coinage.
And what are
Which-
you expecting as terms for completed?
I expect
Do I get anything extra?
Relics
I'm doing a little more than
for
these guys.
you will be paid, of course. Don't worry. The terms of our agreement beforehand will also be met. I expect relics to be brought back. I expect some research to be done. I want to know more of the true nature of this place. I wish to know what's inside of it. Now, the unfortunate part is that, and there's a reason why the payout is so high, is it's rather dangerous.
I figured. So
Wow.
basically, you want a fact-finding mission, and you want us to keep the place intact. I
Keep
assume.
the place intact and bring back something of value from within.
Nothing I'm not used to.
Now, if there are artifacts you find within that you wish to keep for yourselves, that is fine, but expect a lower payout as that was part of.
I'm sure we can reach an understanding. Just one more thing. We're going to need a note of yours in order to retrieve a bag of holding from the genocide so that we can have a place to carry all of these relics. Because as you can see with me, I can't carry shit.
Of course. He pulls out shimmery looking parchment. Like, this parchment looks very different from the rest of any parchment you've seen before, and pulls out quill and ink and writes down something in a language that none of you are familiar with and hands it over to you. There you are.
Thank you. And I'll slip that away.
Now, was there anything else?
I think we'll leave you to prepare the
The feast upon our
briefing?
retrieval.
detailed mission brief while we go wrap up some business.
Very well then. I will send Raven for you when we have it prepared. Does that work for you?
Sounds good for me. You guys?
Mhm.
Sounds good for me.
Mhm.
Sure. This stuff's pretty good, by the way. Ada says, drinking wine.
I thought you might like it. Zancast, there's just one other thing I want to cover with you while we're in such illustrious company.
Yes.
It's important that we know when the shit hits the fan that we're all on the same page. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, of course.
So when you're working with us, let's say we're in some old ruins, for example, you're working with us and not necessarily for them, so that we all get out of it alive.
Agreed.
All right, then we're good.
I look around for this fan.
Where's the fan? I don't know. How am I supposed to know? And the shit hits it.
I pointed to Kenku. You know, like one of those fan blades, like a hand fan.
Right. I gotta go to bed, guys. I gotta get up for work
Yep.
tomorrow.
That's
Alright.
Okay.
I gotta
It's a
go to
pretty good
bed as
ending
well.
spot anyways.
Yeah, it's a good.
Yep,
Spot.
yep.
Have
I don't
fun night,
suppose
guys.
if you
Sorry
end
I
up
was
getting
late.
no, all good. If you end up getting a brief together and you want to send it to us early, please
Yeah.
feel free.
Yeah.
Then we can think about what we might need to round up from town.
Right.
Yeah, guys.
Good game, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool deal.
Good night, all. Thanks again, Flavor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
awesome.